One of the refreshing things about building my model railroad is that it's ever-changing. My layout adapts well to changes I've felt needed to be made. While the general plan of twin main lines has remained the same, other features have changed quite a bit to align with new ideas. The interurban line has grown quite a bit since the original plan called for a static untowered display track. It's now grown yet again. It now connects with the engine servicing facility's transfer table to add some operational interest. The first step for making any of this possible is trying to get the transfer table to work. Oh dear. Now I realize why Walthers discontinued this kit. British modelers probably realized it was a Hellion kit and made a wide berth, but we learn through experience, don't we? The transfer table is actually its own DCC-equipped quote-unquote locomotive with its own decoder and drivetrain. Except, the cheap plastic gears don't stick to the smooth stainless steel axles they are pushed onto. Lots and lots of fiddling, and it still doesn't work. If you have any recommendations, I would love to hear them. Please leave them in the comments. Other major track project we're working on is installing a variety of different switch machine types. This version of the Alta was built for and remains a testbed for new layout construction techniques. We'll cover this more in detail in a future update, but I purchased 4 different types of switch machines to evaluate them. I'll probably make a video on our findings at some point later this year. That's put scenery on hold until we clear both of these track-related hurdles, but that hasn't slowed down rolling stock or building construction. Another structure I've begun to work on is the spectacular brewery complex. The kit is made by Faller, a new release, called the Peschl Brewery Kit. The finished facility will be at least 4 buildings: the main brewery, the new grain silos, the bottling plant, and some outbuildings. It's molded in this horrifying pea soup green, so let's adjust that with something a little more in line with breweries that exist in Hermosillo and elsewhere in Mexico. Primer white, and a little bit of red that eliminates that green nightmare pretty effectively. The kit also comes with surprisingly gorgeous interior with copper brewing kettles and relevant piping. I airbrushed kettles a custom mix of copper, bronze, and silver Vallejo paint to get that polished look just right. Some of the piping was missing or broken on the sprue, so I used that as an excuse to have 2 employees working on repairing it. Adding in a little narrative scene like this adds so much life to the model. More progress will come in the next episode as I finish off the rest of the brewery building and begin on the other structures. Another fun facet of this project is exploring the region I model on Google Maps. And right outside of Empalme, in the town of Ortiz, is this interesting crossing made entirely out of retired 39-foot sections of rail. I decided to model that using extra scrap Code 70 pieces I had lying around from another project. It was pretty easy to bend them to match the easement curves. They're attached to the ties with CA glue and allowed to dry. I then painted them with enamel paint so that they're more durable. This cool-looking crossing is now part of the photo curve, and I went and did an impromptu photo shoot with the freshly completed Alta engines and 2 new roster editions. When I was buying parts from Atlas for the Chassis S4 project and the NdeM RS1, I asked if they had any spare Ferrocarril Pacifico shells. To my great luck, there were only 2 left in their workshop from their 2008 run of RSD-5s, so I bought them along with 2 pairs of 6-axle Alco trucks. Alexander recently got 3 Bowser RS3s and didn't need the 2 SP&S units anymore, so we decided to kitbash them into accurate FCP units. It wasn't difficult at all to remove the old shells and trucks. Swapping in the new trucks was easy, and at the same time I dropped in NCE DA-SR decoders into them before wiring it all up again. Now I've got 2 excellent running locomotives for a fraction of the price. I'll eventually super detail them to match the actual FCP units, which had a variety of differences from the stock models in a future episode of The Joy of Kit Bashing. Another roster addition was an accidental lowball eBay offer that I got accepted. I now own what turns out to be an excellent update to the old Proto 2000 GP9s. This new Walthers mainline Jeep has Locksound V5 factory installed. It's smooth, powerful, and ready for details. I managed to find photos of the real NdeM 7106, so yet another upcoming episode will cover detailing the model to match its looks. If you want to get into modeling the NdeM, I highly recommend this model as a starting point, since they were in service from 1956 until the 1990s. Over the holiday break, I resurrected a model that I'd rediscovered in an old box. 15 years ago, a modeling friend visited my table at a train show and gave me this shell and a metal GP9 chassis, saying, I felt you needed to have this. It's so you. Today, I rediscovered it in an old box, repowered it, added side frames and underbody detail. Next is paint and roof detail. I'll also probably repair the fluting. It should make a fun little motor car to hold down local service on the Alta. Which project are you most excited to see completed? Let me know in the comments below. The most highly voted for project will get its own bonus video later this year. As always, thank you to my patrons. A bunch of great new supporters joined over the holidays, and I really must thank you all. This has been In an Urban Era. Stay tuned for the next update of the Alta California Railway, coming soon.